Sometimes you have to do that because the easy challenge is one you'll get lazy with. The big challenge gets you hungry.
Oh, how the tables turn.
That's a heavy topic,
and we need to focus on that. If not for yourself, then do it for your children.
Black book is in
black.
Black
book.
Men Talk, Black Book. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020. No, let's do 2018. 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that team, reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Look who is here.
Back.
Hey, there we go. We're on Black Men Talking. You're watching Sadat Osbourne and Dr. Vibe. What is up, Sadat?
I am good. It's good to be back. I know that it's been a little while. I had to take a little bit of a hiatus, but always listening in, always there. Great to see everybody's back as well. And yeah, man, it's just good. Like, you know what? Today I have to say it's a blessed day. When they ask you in the check-in how you're feeling from 1 to 10, so today's a 15. It's on the 15 scale. I feel like for those who are here in Toronto, I don't know what the weather.
Oh yeah, Vitamin D Day. Yes, Vitamin D Day.
Ooh, it's beautiful. I went for a walk. I usually like to go walking on Sundays. I haven't been walking in a while, but I went for a nice walk today, man. It was a beautiful day, so I'm giving praises. That was a beautiful day. What about yourself? How was your day?
Yeah, I went out in the morning time and I just got out the door and I felt, man, I'm glad I got my sunglasses on because it was like whoosh. Wow, there were just a lot of things. Had a potential very significant wing that I have to make a decision on in the next week, but it's something that I've been silently working on it was in my mind for the last 2 or 3 years. It started 10 years ago.
I love that.
It just build up via relationship, and a conversation happened today, and a person said, well, I'm thinking about it getting this person and this person, this person. I said, hey, fantastic. If you need any help with anything on top of that, tell me. He said, well, you know what? I know you better. I get along with you better.
Yeah. Wow.
Would you consider? Because he goes, you're really adept at this technology thing, which I need help with. And I said, okay. And I said, well, have you positioned this to the other person yet? He goes, I was going to do it this week. And I said, well, when would you want me to make a decision by? He says, I'll give me a week. I said, okay. Well, I was ready to say yes. I was going to say no, give me a few days. I'm going to meditate on it and all that. And I probably will announce in the next 2 weeks something fairly significant where I'll be receiving income and I don't have to leave my home.
Whew. Listen, that's all beautiful. Listen, it definitely makes me think about the importance of putting out intentions, and planting seeds. Because a lot of times, we could be impatient farmers, like we put things out.
Ooh, very nice.
Talked about that 10 years. And things being in the making, and sometimes, it's about the right time.
It's a lot. We have to realize that patience, sometimes things don't happen in our time. We have to just let things be. I heard a quote today from a lady, and I just want to see if I can just share it with everybody. Lady I really respect, Tanya Smith, who's, she says, the goal is connection, not perfection.
All right. Pull that one up again.
The goal is connection, not perfection. I thought, wow. And she did a webinar about doing resetting, and there were so many gems in it. I've got to rewatch it. I said it was just really right on. The goal is connection, not perfection.
That's right. That's right.
That hit me solid. That hit me solid. What's been going on with you over the past week?
As you say, that the goal is connection, not perfection. I got to always hail up my boy, Christopher Lawrence, right?
Oh boy, yes, Mr. Lawrence. Okay.
He's the master of the network and the net worth of the network. So that reminds me of some things he's been doing. So yeah, I've been up to certain things. So one of the things I'm looking forward to this week is, knock on wood, we're gonna have Dr. Vibe in the house, doing the podcasting session.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if it manifests. We're putting
Yeah.
up attention, but yeah, really, I'm looking forward to really connecting with folks, man. That's this whole week. I have a couple new things that are going on. I'll be doing some, new programming,
Good.
new training.
Good.
And it's all exciting. And the best thing I love about it is new connections, right?
Yes.
New connections, but meeting some new people, and being able to, build, because that's my thing. I always love to build forward. So yeah, I mean, definitely, looking forward to that. I'm starting a rites of passage with an organization this week, which is really exciting, as well as doing some training on some African-centered leadership with another organization, which is it's exciting as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those new journeys starting.
Well, I just want to hail up Lori Hitson Souza, who is like
Ooh,
this
listen,
on Facebook.
Oh, you don't even know who that is, bro. Look, listen, you don't even know who that is.
This is happen. We could probably spend the next few minutes just hailing up people.
No, we have to do that. So it's just like a hail up session. So, as humble as she is, she's from Diversity Midwives, and for me, she helped to deliver all 4 of my children.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is big hail up. And actually, and I don't look at social media as much as I used to because I have a life. And I saw one of the gentlemen who considers me a mentor. I haven't heard from him in a while. He is a daddy. He has an organization. Is it in Milwaukee or Green Bay called Daddy Doula?
Oh yes.
And he has a program now for Black men in regards to doula and graduation. He's I gotta hail him up in the next few days. But yeah, Daddy Doula. Joseph Zoadi did a great conversation with him a few years ago. I got to reach out and touch base and get him back on again. But yeah, well, Lori, great to have you here. That is fantastic.
And I got to thank you as well. I was doing some work mentoring some young people who do a community project through Canada microgrants, and I was like, hey, this young lady wanted to do something on Black maternity and health. And I'm like, reach out to Lori. And I was glad to know that you actually connected with this young person. I heard that you presented at the conference and just passing on. She was so appreciative of that. So I love it. It's not just doing the work, but making the connection and making the connection and making the connection. Right. So I love that.
And it's, your name came up in a conversation I was having in the last weeks because someone was saying we need a rites of passage program, and it was someone not in this country. It was someone that was in the was it
George Fraser? What was his name?
Yes.
See, there you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Well, you were on when I told you I had that conversation with him, right? I told you about that.
Yeah, we were backstage.
I've actually got to release that because it's been sitting in the vault, and I need to release that. And I've also got to send Dr. Fraser that. But that rites of passage, yeah. I have you done one for elders in the recently at all?
No, not really. But it's out there. We're working with a lot of different partners, and it's definitely something that we need to reignite. Working with the elders and them really kind of giving back and having a process that works for them. But yeah, I'm excited about it. So if anybody's out there that's interested in doing something like that, yeah, let us know. It'll be all good and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna take a little bit of a break and we'll catch up on things. We're actually broadcasting to another new platform today.
Okay.
And you're not even aware of. So we're always looking to do new things. We're going to take a break. for about 30 seconds, and we'll come back with some more
Men Can
from
Talk,
Black Men
a
Can
show
Talk,
where Black Canadian men come together
to have real unfiltered conversations about life, culture, and community.
there is that weight that is put on Black men in order to show their worth.
But I think our children are now in a space, in a place where they are doing better. You know, as somebody who works with young people.
And in a lot of cases, a lot of the impact that they've seen happens after they're gone.
How much I wish you were part of that conversation with Esquire.
Oh man, listen.
That went on for a while. Like we were on for at least an hour and a half.
Woo! Y'all
At
went.
least an hour and a half. Like I asked him, do you have what time? He says, no. He says, I got all the even. I said, okay, let's go in. And Kofi was all in. I just sat back, and him and Kofi just vibed.
Nice.
They just vibed, man. It was really good.
Nice, I love it. So, and Kobe, doing some work around fathering spaces. So, when I hail them up, even though I missed the conversation, I definitely knew that he had to come on the show and represent the organization. So, yeah, definitely. Again, anyone out there doing work with, Black men, Black fathers, Black families, let us know. We want to promote.
Well, this is a safe embrace space for all Black. We say B1. So B1, right? All right. B1, Black first. All right. Before we get into more, let's do some homework here. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, email me dr.vibe at the vibeshow.com. Join the Black Men Can Talk Discord group, as there have been some people in the last few days, and I got to hail up Black Nerd Talk. He's been sharing it with some of his associates, so we're beginning to have some communications on the platform. Actually, we need you to put stuff on there too when you have some time. And we broadcast this live to a whole pile of channels. Paul's Instagram, his YouTube, NASA community, then my LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook account. Well, we have another new place we're broadcasting to today, Substack. We are now.
I'm listening, bro. Give us the details. What is that?
Substack is a platform that was started a number of years ago, mainly for writers. So a lot of prominent media people in news and all, with all the downsizing happening all over the news, have gone to Substack. And if you're into writing, a great platform where you can publish articles there, and you can have a free section and a paid section.
Okay.
And again, I got to hail up Tanya Smith, who I really begin to pay a lot of attention to in regards to video content creators. She's based out of Texas. And she said a few weeks ago she was doing a live stream talking about, you may want to think about broadcasting on Substack. Go, well, Substack's for writers. She goes, no. You can do live streaming on Substack.
Okay.
New platform that we are broadcasting onto is Substack. So if anyone from, actually I need to log in because I don't know. I got to log into Substack. But the nice thing is, after you do a live stream there, what it does, it produces like minute clips of the best parts of your show that you can repurpose.
Yep.
Loving that, and I've got it. That's one of the things I'm going to be doing over the next doing some restructuring and retoolings.
I like it.
So Black Men Can Talk is now on Substack too.
Nice. Oh, for sure. I'm just like you. I'm looking at some different platforms and seeing what's going to make more sense in terms of going out there and doing these shows. So if anybody out there, put it in the chat, if you know of any platforms for streaming podcasts or shows, let us know. We'll put it out there. Let us know. You can list it. Things.
Yeah, and actually we were talking about a lady, I won't mention her name, before we went on the show, who's going to come on with your better half, Nicole, and have a subject, but we were talking about the potential opportunity of, I want to do this live podcast about Black families. It's not leave me, and even more after having a conversation with Dr. George Fraser, it became more instilled. And well, we had Eddie on recently he was our last guest that from Scarpods too. And she says, well, why don't you have it there? I said, I would, but we need more space than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you want to have the live podcast.
Live Cock says about the state of the Black Canadian family.
Okay, all right. Well, you let me know, bro.
If anyone's interested and has some ideas, toss them my way, and we would like to have some more conversation about that. Yeah. What else is you? I've got a few things, but is anything you want to address in this short?
I'm going to say something, man. You know what? For the longest time, I've wanted to set up a garden because in these hard times where money's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, right? Because someone's being a Trump, we won't go there. But money,
once a we can, but go ahead.
Even beyond that, right? Like I've always said that, for myself, and I believe for the community, that we have to learn to grow more of our own. So I'm gonna be taking up the challenge this year to, have a garden. And I need some advice, folks. Whoever's out there who's
you know who I would point you to? Roger Dundas.
Roger Dundas.
He is a avid gardener. Grows a lot of edibles and things. So that's who I would point you to in regards to gardening. When someone talks to me about Black men and gardening, he's the first person that comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, I know also folks, like African Food Basket.
True.
Brother Zola, and others like who have been doing some work in the gardening space. So, hey, I need y'all to come through and give a brother some advice, because I really want to all in this year, all in when it comes to gardening.
Okay, well, we got people watching all over on platforms. If you're watching on any of my platforms, I see there's some people watching on my YouTube platform. Hey, put some comments in. Say, hey, what's up? We can shout you out. So, anything else? Because I do have something I think that will carry some conversation with us if you are up for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, I'm just going to play this and we can go deeper. And I have a feeling you may know this person or have heard about this person. A very interesting commentary he made. So we're going to share this and we're going to play it. So here we go. Oh, here we go.
Their man or their husband to open up emotionally, to share what he's been carrying instead of holding it in alone. First, I want to commend you for even asking, even caring. Second, I want to tell you what you're really asking for and to make sure you're ready for it. Because when a warrior finally shares his heart, you will need a heart of fortitude to receive what he's sharing. When a man opens up, it's like a dam breaking. It won't just touch you, it will shake you. You're undoubtedly strong enough to handle it. However, the question is, are you willing? And if he does man up by opening up, how will you respond? Will you pull away? Will you impassively dismiss his thoughts and emotions? Will you unknowingly confirm his worst fear that no one really cares to help him carry what he's carried alone for so long? Or is your heart strong enough to support the very thing you deeply desire for your man, that he heals and become whole? So if you're ready, sincerely ask him, but with deep intent in your eyes, how are you really doing? Then brace yourself and listen with your heart and not your ears. Shalom.
That was deep. That was deep, bro.
It's a gentleman named Jason Wilson, very well known in the United States. Has just, I didn't bring the book with me, but just read a book called The Man That the Moment Demands. And he's written another book. Is it Battle Cry? Very well known writer. I've heard about him about 2 or 3 years ago. This most recent book, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And I just throw that video out there to see what do you think about that commentary.
Yeah. It's interesting that, often, folks say that men and Black men specifically are not open to showing emotion. right? But I like the side of this piece that talks about when it does happen, are folks open to receive it, right? Because that I think would be one of the bigger barriers about showing open emotion is that, people, like don't acknowledge it, or people who you believe should be there in support of you, see you as being, soft, or being a negative kind of outcome. I think that's a huge barrier to Black men and Black boys showing emotion, right? Openly, right? Because it's seen as a weakness. So I like that challenge that he's saying, will you be open to receive that? So yeah, I thought it was dope. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's me, at least a multiple part thing. First, the Black man or the Black boy has to be comfortable doing it.
Mm,
He may not have had an environment where he saw that,
right.
he witnessed that. And then when he puts it out there, how's it received?
Yeah.
Because if it isn't received openly and without judgment, you know that whatever shutdown existed will even get greater after that moment.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Right. And then also, as Black men, are we comfortable with other Black men expressing emotion? How does that make us feel? Right. We all remember the moments. If we had the privilege, like, could be an older brother, could be, an uncle, could be, an elder or father. The first time you've seen, an older Black man cry, what did it do to you? Right? How did it shift you? Right? Did it open up possibilities that you yourself could do? Or you were just like uncomfortable to this day because, and a lot of us are that way, right?
100%.
We're uncomfortable with that expression.
100%. I just thought it was a very interesting commentary, and I thought I'd just spring it on you and see what you had to say about it.
Yeah, for sure. It's trust me, it's got me thinking in the moment here, right? Because especially when, like you have, like in my situation, like I have sons and a daughter, right? So, I have to be mindful now when I'm thinking about it. Like, is it going to be received if dad has to, right? Or I'm an uncle, if dad has to cry or show emotion in a way that is not usually seen, or especially in society, in media, when it comes to Black men. So yeah, it's a good video to have further discussions.
Yes,
And
short and powerful one. I that would be the type of content I'd like to bring at this Black families conversation.
Yeah. No, I would love that. I would love that. Listen, man, let me know what size space, and I'll work.
Well, you know what? Actually, our friend who I was discussing with offline about, she suggested C.
Yeah, it could be a space for sure.
I wouldn't want a lot of people. 20 max.
Okay.
Small group of people, and I don't want a whole bunch of things. Small group of people, have maybe a panel discussion or a few different panels.
Yeah.
And make that happen.
Here's a suggestion for you.
Okay.
Under the baobab tree. Have it outside.
Oh.
If you're down, I've already rented a park. If you're down, right? We can talk about have it outside. Because these are conversations. I mean, you just came from yard a couple.
Well, then you couldn't limit it to 20 people because everyone and their mother would be showing up.
I'm just saying, like, when you were at home, we have conversations outside, right? Especially community conversations. It's unlike here. We don't really have these conversations in our hall or in our home, usually, But I think maybe change it up, unless
if you know what, even
listen, under the baobab tree, brother, under the baobab tree. You know what I mean?
It's an interesting thought. Yeah, outdoors.
There you go.
Okay, the ping pong is back to you. What would you like to actually show another video and then another one? And I did show that video, and this other one I'd like to show this evening. Last Friday,
Right.
on the Morning Vibe, and we were talking about, do we feel there's a crisis of Black masculinity in current culture? That conversation was just wow. It was like people after said, when are we doing part 2? When are we doing part 2?
I think from this from the responses, we need to probably just go back to all our topics and all our guests and just go into the part 2, because there's so much. There's never enough time for us to really go into everything, right? So it's all good. Yeah, man.
Anything you want to chat about, I can bring up some more stuff, but you haven't been with us for a bit, so
bring it up. Bring up the well, you
okay,
know,
go ahead.
Yeah, bring it up. Bring it up. The next video.
This one is a little bit longer, but it is quite another topic. Again, focusing on men and boys.
Right.
The gentleman who's talking about is non-melanated, but what he's saying, I think, can apply to Black men and boys. All right, so let's bring this one up, and actually, it's from a podcast hosted by Trevor Noah.
Okay.
And he's speaking with a gentleman, Scott Galloway. All right, let me go full screen on this. And we're going to spend a few minutes on this one. I initially played it only a few seconds. It gets deep. So here we go. If I can get some volume, here we go.
I think you're both right. 1 in 6 men, 3 years post-divorce, have no contact with their children.
Wow.
Some of that is male abandonment. Some of it is just a total lack of character. You don't hear a lot about female abandonment because it just doesn't happen that much. At the same time, family court is also, you would argue, biased against men. Sometimes it literally impoverishes them. Sometimes also the reality is in divorce, there's a lot of emotion, and my parents weaponized it and tried to convince me to hate the other. And you're just more inclined to believe the person you're living with, that the other person is bad. So I think that we need to change society and say, okay, regardless of how you feel about each other, you need to be supportive of each other for the kids' sake post-divorce. It's a nuanced argument with a lot of factors, but in general, there needs to be a zeitgeist in our society that the moment a boy loses a male role model, the community has to rally around that kid, the mother, the brothers, the uncles, and the men, to say we have to get men involved in his life.
Yeah.
And that's not happening. It's not, these, think about it, after school programs, not as many coaches anymore, right?
Yeah.
They're not going into work. My first job was at Morgan Stanley. I got a lot of male mentorship. I was in a fraternity. I remember my quote unquote big brother in the fraternity sitting me down my freshman year and saying, you need to stop getting high every night. And I needed a 22-year-old male that I could kind of look up to. I didn't have a lot of male involvement in my life to tell me that. My first boss, was a great guardrail for me. Young men need guardrails more than young women, quite frankly, where young women get them. When a young woman isn't in a relationship, she reinvests oftentimes a lot of that energy into her friend network, into her professional life. When a man's not in a relationship, he oftentimes reinvests it in video games and porn, and he sequesters from society. And a tremendous guardrail for young men that they're not getting is a relationship.
Okay, Scott, I think a relationship is one thing. My husband, interesting enough, was raised by a single mother, but had great male role models in his grandfather and his uncles. So I'm actually get concerned about how little trauma he has. That's my worry with him. But he has this incredible group of male friends. Like they're like really tight, and they've all become dads at the same time, and they take their kids out together. And I'm really struck by how much he invests time in his friendship. And even in that group of men, there's about 7 to 8 of them. A couple of them aren't married yet, but they're still involved. So if there's a birthday, they'll fly in, etc., etc. I kind of rub up against the idea that having a mate is the only arena these men can find care, because I see a lot of women marry men and they're like, now I have someone to babysit. Isn't there a way that we can encourage young men to invest in their friendships and in a brotherhood and in their communities in a way that means even if you don't have a romantic relationship, you still have a really rich and fulfilled life? Because this world where my daughters are going to grow up and, okay, the man does have a job or whatever, but she's going to have to look after him all the time. And if she doesn't, he falls off the rails. I'd rather it be a man who has a really rich interior life and social network. And if he's married or not, or if he has a girlfriend or not, it doesn't matter. It's not as socially devastating.
I think you're talking about the way the world should be, not the way it is.
Or
and the reality
we
is,
can perhaps make it.
Well, that's very nice. So the reality
I'm
is,
not an optimist. I'm just saying that we have
we have that in common.
Yeah.
A 30-year-old,
Now I see why you're a fan.
30-year-old male that hasn't lived with a woman or been married has a 1 in 3 chance of becoming a substance abuser. And a strong friend network is incredibly important. But without a romantic relationship, men have a tendency to not reinvest in their social network and their professional lives the way that women do. You clearly have figured out that male friendship is really important for men. They open up to other men. They can express. The people who have the most job prospects are the most social. They have an outlet with each other. Do you think in general, though, that women, once they get married, are really supportive of men spending more time with their friends?
I think it depends on the friends. I like my husband's friends.
Okay, most women see a guy spending more time with their mates as a threat to the relationship. In addition, corporations don't want men spending a lot of time with their friends. They want them making more money.
This is the difference. I don't really like men. There's a boys' club and they leave me alone. It's a dream.
But the larger point you bring up is the following. 1 in 7 men in America doesn't have a single friend. 1 in 4 men can't name a best friend.
Damn, that's crazy.
And we have what I would argue is a loneliness crisis. And the most frightening thing for young men right now, in my view, is that the deepest pocketed, most talented companies in the world are trying to convince young men, especially, that they can have a reasonable facsimile of life on a screen with an algorithm. Why go through the effort of trying to have friends and figuring out the pecking order and your social currency when you can go on Reddit and Discord? And why, for God's sakes, would you ever go through the humiliation, the rejection, working out, having a plan, being funny, smelling nice, enduring rejection, feeling humiliated, figuring out a way to feel confident, showing the perseverance such that you can establish a romantic or a sexual relationship when you have porn? So what we have is I think, unfortunately, we're evolving a new species of asexual, asocial males. And they're the most dangerous people in the world.
Very dangerous.
Because, and I don't want to pathologize them. We have a tendency to say, oh, they're the school shooters. Actually, the people they're most dangerous towards is themselves. They're much more likely to harm themselves and harm other people. But the one thing the most unstable, violent societies have in common is a disproportionate amount of young men who have no economic or romantic prospects.
Yeah.
So, and we don't like to have an honest conversation around mating. The reality is women mate socioeconomically horizontally and up, men horizontally and down. And when dating apps are now where 50 to 60% of all relationships begin, the reductive analysis is the following. Can you signal resources and are you tall? Men have very few arenas to demonstrate excellence anymore. If you talk to people who've been married longer than 30 years, 80% of them say one was much more interested in the other. And it was almost always the man was much more interested. But when there's no places, when men aren't going into work, when men don't have third spaces, when they're not serving in the military together, they have no place to demonstrate kindness. He was funny. I liked his hands. He was great at what he did. And so as a result, we have this dating environment where the top 10% get literally all of the interest and the bottom 90% are just shut out. And then they become very prone to really ugly voices that say it's a woman's fault. They're much more prone to misogynistic content.
Yeah.
They're much more prone to nationalist content. So figuring out environments where more people can meet and more men, quite frankly, can demonstrate excellence such that they can get through the finer filter of mating that women have. The greatest innovation in history, it's not the iPhone or the semiconductor, it's the American middle class. And fundamental to that innovation was that 7 million men returned from World War II. They had demonstrated excellence in uniform. We gave them enough money so they could afford a home. We gave them jobs, and they became very attractive to a lot of women, and we started the baby boom. And we had such wonderful prosperity that American liberal households said, let's bring women into this prosperity. I know, let's bring non-whites into this prosperity. And we got along because the majority of our leaders had served in the same uniform, so they saw themselves as Americans before they saw themselves as Republicans or Democrats. But unless we figure out a way to level up young people and find a place where they can meet and fall in love and mate, and they have the economic wherewithal to do it, we're just going to continue to generate the most dangerous person in the world. And that is a young man with no economic or romantic prospects.
I'm going to say this. I disagreed with much of what he said, but I do agree with some of what he said, right? And I think again, everything's perspective and everything's is liberty in terms of, you know, your how you step into your environment, your culture, and it shapes your perspectives, right? So I mean, but I get it maybe from where he's coming from in terms of when we look at the economic factor. But the thing I would say is that a lot of people who are from brown and black and melanated communities don't have the economic power, but yet you look at their fertility rates and you look at it's way higher, right? Then so, but that's one factor. I won't even go off. But what I do agree with is the need for more third spaces for black boys and black men to be and to connect, and the importance of having, you know, your friend group, your posse, your tribe, that you're able to really just navigate life and bounce things off. I think that that's the important piece. Interesting enough, I was having a conversation. I went to, I'm not going to endorse them, but I went to the large donut company that we have here in Canada.
Yes.
We know who they are.
Yes.
And I was just reflecting on the fact that back in my day, like say my high school days, we used to hang out at the donut shop. And what ended up happening was, you know, which if you compare it to today, it's a lot of elders that hang out at the donut shop.
Yes. Right? Yes. Good
That's
point.
But you know, my partner was saying, or Nicole was saying, you know, one of the things that we that happened back then is when there were more than three black men, three young black men gathered in those places, they often ran us out because they saw us as a threat.
Yeah.
If there is 5 of us or 10 of us walking in a mall, the security come and do what?
Right. Kick us out.
Right.
Yep.
So it's making me think, right, in terms of not in our later ages and stages, where gathering was always seen as, you know, a criminalized or a negative piece.
Sure.
What is the impact on today? Right? Our
Mm-hmm.
gathering was always a threat. We knew that. Right? If one of us ate, maybe, you know, that's one thing, but our gathering has always been a threat. So I think it does have an impact around now. We talked about it before with another guest around the loneliness epidemic.
Yes,
Joe
Corley, Professor Joe Corley. Yep.
Hey, Professor Joe Corley. If you haven't seen that, catch it on the rewind. That was a great conversation we had.
Yep.
The loneliness epidemic. I think it's how do we shift if we want to shift as black men, and actually go out there and meet people. Right? How do you do that?
You know, a few things. I've got to catch up. Galera. Hi, Galera. She has a comment. The Bangladeshi peeps meets outside all pandemic long, and now they're watching their condos being built. We have been here so long we forgot what our ancestors did. Galera also says, "Glad you are all speaking of meeting outside. It may become a restored, healthy community habit." Mm-hmm. And interesting. One of the practice I did for a few years. A number of years ago, it's every year we'd have a friends and family get together at a picnic place. Yeah, we did. The last time we did it out in Milton, and it was, I guess, a central spot for people from the west, from the east to meet, and we just spend a day picnicking. And to build on what you were saying too, Sadat, is that and even up this afternoon in discussion with Tanya, I said, she said she's an introvert, but she's condition herself to meet people like face to face. Like you go to a lot of events, I go to some, and you always end up seeing someone you haven't seen for a long time.
Yep.
Let alone not including the pandemic, but just haven't seen for a long time.
Exactly.
There needs to be. It's done periodically, spaces where black men and black boys get together, but if a dream would have a regular space that black men and black young men could get together. I know that Troy has his thing, I think, once a month.
Yep.
And
that's
on a Friday evening.
Yeah.
If there were you know, maybe we put out in the universe, could there be a monthly place, maybe on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, where Black men and boys could just get together? Just a thought.
Yeah, and furthermore, with our with our women as well, because I think the thing that is kind of out of practice, I think, for us as a community, is just having conversations that, he was talking about mating and stuff like that, but just having regular conversations, right? Conversations that have nothing to do with anything sexual or an intention to even go there. Because if it happens, it happens. But we got to retrain ourselves to say, you know what? Can I sit in a space and just have conversations for the sake of having conversations?
Yeah, conversation leads to conversion.
Yeah.
Right? But just having those safe and, let alone safe, but safe embrace spaces where you can just go hang out or say cool out.
Yeah, 100%.
Just cool out. Anything else on your mind? I always have some things bounce around. What about yourself? Anything more come out of those 2 videos that I shared with the family here today?
Yeah, again, like I said, it almost comes back to some things that we were looking to put out there in terms of our intention and being intent about our intentions, right? So if we want to see a particular state, they talked about optimism, right? But I think we have things. We have things in our systems, in our cultures, when it comes to putting out intentions, whatever that system is. But I think that, we got to be whatever we want to see, we've got to be active in making that happen.
It's us that's going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's us that's going to make it happen. So I was taking that whole piece around optimism, and sometimes people, feel like, hey, you're too optimistic or whatnot. But really, rest in peace. As Louis always says, you have to be the driver, right? We got to be the driver, Louis March, the driver in our life. And I think, sometimes we're waiting for things to happen or other people to make reality happen. We can't wait.
Don't wait. No, it's just not gonna. I wouldn't say it's not gonna happen. It may take too long to happen.
Right.
As Elder would always say, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. A lot of people want change, but he would say, well, what are you doing?
Right. 100%.
He would come back to us and say, he would not come back. He would not only come back to us, he would challenge us and say, what are you doing?
Exactly. 100%. 100%.
For the cause. What else is going on in the world of Sadat?
You know what? Economics, right? We're talking about the challenge of, definitely with some of the things that are impacting, higher grocery sales and stuff like that. I've seen out there's a conversation that's coming up. I believe it's April 30th at a different book list. They're going to be talking about the updates to the Black Credit Union.
Finally.
So I registered for that conversation. We will share it with folks who are interested in coming down to a different book list.
Yes, someone asked me about that the other day. I said I had not heard anything about that.
All right. Okay. So I see something. My general, my brethren, Abijah, is saying that there is an event coming up on April 20th at Colors Barbershop, geared towards Black men. Give us the address. We may not all know Colors Barbershop.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, get the more detail, the better. Yes. So Andrew says, yeah, blessings. There is a meetup geared towards Colors Barbershop. Is that not down?
Yes, downtown. It's downtown. You know how we do, bro. We we know where places are, but
don't know the address.
We don't know the address. So yeah, folks have that Colors Barbershop. Colors Barbershop. If you can look it up and let us know where that barbershop is.
That'd be good to know.
AOLORS Colors Barbershop. Big up my brethren from Colors. There you go.
There's the address, 1612 Queen Street West, downtown Toronto.
April 20th at 4 p.m.
Okay. And is it a general conversation? Who's hosting it? What are the deets? Give us some more information. Like what, people want to know. If I go, what am I to expect?
Yeah.
We ought to know some more details. The more you give people, the better.
There you go.
The more you give people, that's good that these conversations are happening. We need to have, there's another thing I can say with all the organizations geared to Black men. Wouldn't it be wonderful that even if for them, each week of the month, one of them had a conversation?
Look, under the barbell tree, I'm putting it out to folks. Listen, June 13th. Remember this date, June 13th.
Okay.
Taylor Creek Park and on Dawes Road. We're going to be having a special session.
Oh, yes. You told me. Yes.
We're going to be outside. We're going to, break some bread. We're going to exercise. We're going to walk. We're going to reason. So I will give some details.
As it gets closer, you know what?
Closer, but June 13th, save that date.
If we could get some sponsor, maybe ask Eddie to come and document it.
Yeah, listen, 100%.
Yes, but yeah, outdoor activities.
Yep.
That would be.
And I'll bet you, we got to start getting out there, brother. Today was a warm day. We have to start running our 5Ks.
Boy, here we go.
I need a accountability partner. So I'm putting
the 5K crew is out.
Yeah, this is it. Today was warm. I did the walk, so I need to start running again.
Okay. All right. 5K walks. So have you ran a 5K?
Have I ran a 5K? Oh, yeah. I've ran many 5Ks. I've even done a marathon.
What?
You're
kidding me.
Listen, we used to do 10K.
Hold on. You hide these things from me.
Listen.
Look at this. Abula says, Chris Aki speaking on the official advice that works.
Financial advice that works. I like that. Okay. All right.
Wow.
All right. So we're going to put that out there. April 20th, 4 p.m. Colors Barbershop. Financial advice that works. Okay.
And he said, taking control of your finances. Love it. This is good. Yeah. This is a place, again, if you know of any upcoming events, please tell us of these things. We want to be a trumpeter, almost like the town crier back in the olden days, right? The town crier that shares their information with the audience. That's what we want to know what's going on. And I'm speaking, it's going to be an active summer too, with a lot of events.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We want to have an active summer with a lot of events, and we want to, let's see if we can do one or two either live or pre-recorded things at some of these events. I got my iPad Pro, so if it can work with George Fraser,
so good.
It can work with any events. I got my iPad Pro and my lavalier mics. They take care of everything. They take care of everything. Document.
Look for us on the road, guys.
I'm just thinking too of some of these events and say, hey, could we get a space just to have black men reasoning?
Okay, the event within the event. That's how I love that. I love that concept.
Just throw it out there. Would there be any events off the top of your head that you think that would be a good fit?
You know what? There's so many events when you're talking about the summertime in particular. When it comes to Toronto, Afrofest.
I was thinking about that one.
African Caribbean Festival that happens here in Scarborough.
Yes, that one I'd really like to. Look at this. Bulla says, I'm ready to run next Saturday. Early morning run. Let's do it.
Hold on. Did I feel my hamstring? Hold on. My hamstring is getting all right. We will have to meet up on Saturday. I got a week to stretch my legs.
Remember, you stretch before you do it, brother.
Yes, I got to
do your stretches and walk before you run.
All right. And we can't forget about the Easter bun and cheese coming up. So
that's okay. Here's an interesting thing. Brings up to two things.
Yeah.
So if we're doing a show next week, I can do it, but I'll be in another city, but I can do it remotely. Because if I can do it remotely from Jamaica, I can do it remotely from where I'm going.
Yeah.
So they would like to get some bun and cheese. So don't you have where you are? She says, no, it's way expensive. So I ended up buying it. They asked me to go to a specific store. It was a Chinese grocery store.
Yep.
So I'm going, okay, let me just check. I go in there. They got like 7 or 8 different brands of Bun One.
They know.
And then, so they also buy Jamaican cheese. So I asked, where do I get the Jamaican cheese? They keep it under the cash register. It's like a hot commodity.
That and the bully beef. There we go.
I'm going Jamaican cheese kept underneath the cashier. I said, I want one. Say, pull it out underneath the cashier, pull it up. Another interesting fact, this after, for those who don't know, on many a Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m., at least bi-weekly, we have Black Canada Talking with Cesar Nadima Musa.
Yes.
Incredible gentleman. Very top-notch. So he's down for the for the 3rd year in a row. He's been invited to the UN General Assembly for the decade of African descent. I'm butchering it, so I'm going to leave it at that. So this year it's in New York. So we chatted last week. I said, look, I just want to make sure you get there safe, because crossing the border these days, if you're a Canadian and if you're non-melanated, can be challenging. He said, no problem. He's not scared. So he texted me this afternoon. And so people saying, why you mentioned, so it just builds on the conversation I was just saying about getting melanated products at non-melanated stores. So he says, okay, well arrived, brother. Didn't know I was in Queens. Feeling like Hakeem coming to America. LOL. He says, watching here at a Black-owned barbershop while waiting for my food from the Jamaican-owned restaurant next door. The gentrification is flagrant here. Black neighborhood with Chinese and Latino businesses and white tourists with luggages from the hotels.
Yo, bro, I listen. I was in Brooklyn last summer. I don't know where it was. Not the Brooklyn that I know, but gone are the bodegas, and everything is like trust me. I was like, yo, where am I? Like, I could not recognize the faces, the places, the businesses, nothing. I was just like, this is like, we're East End people. So it was like going downtown and all these little frou-frou shops and stuff. I'm like, so it's real. It's real, right? So where did the people go? If we're being moved out of our neighborhoods.
Well, I don't say, some of it's moved out. Some of people just sell for the money. But the thing is, and they say, oh, I want to move back. Good luck. You can't afford now.
Don't leave. I'm warning y'all. Don't leave. If you can stay, right? And but yeah, I hear you. Like it's crazy.
Once you're gone, you're hardly you have high possibility of never getting it back.
Yeah, I was staying with a friend who had a place in Brooklyn, and they rent out a place. It's kind of all sectioned off. They have like different apartments, and they happened to have one that was free. So I was staying there, and they were letting us know that the challenge with keeping, let's say, the melanated people in the area sometimes comes down to economics.
Of course.
Yeah. They're like, no way I'm going to rent to anybody who's outside the community, right? So they're like, yo. Then someone approached them and said, you know what? I will pay the rent for a year. Think about that. They're like, you know what?
Yeah, but I don't blame that, but that's short. Some people say that's short-term thinking, because in the long term, you're losing out.
Yeah. And it's rental, right? So, but they were like, you know what? I'm struggling to get, because everybody's
day to day.
So if I can get a year as a landlord, if I can get a year rent, so, but that's some realities. That's, again, people are being priced out of their own neighborhood.
Sure.
Right? So that was one of the things he was showing me, right?
100%. I fully get that. I fully understand that. And it's a ongoing conversation, the economics thing. And I'm a firm believer, if we as a people are going to move forward, we have to get our economics together.
That's it.
Like it or not, we're in a capitalistic society, and money is valued more, unfortunately, by a lot of people than who you are. So
connection. Today, the key word is right?
Connection and relationships too.
Yeah,
you know,
relationships. That's it.
Relationships are really important. Well, I think we have done for this. Are you? Should we broadcast next week? It is Easter weekend. Are you wanting to broadcast?
Let's check it in the week. We'll check in the week.
Yeah, check during the week. I'll be able to do it if we need to, because I'll have my laptop. And as I said, they're in Jamaica, so where I'm going now, this is no problem. I'll be indoors, and the Wi-Fi is good.
There you go.
So everything is set up to make things happen. Anything coming up between now and the weekend that we need to know about?
The only events that I'm pushing again is the networking event by Brother Christopher. Outside of that, I just want people to have a safe and a healthy week. Embrace the love, embrace, family, community, what I mean, and just, be optimistic, right?
Optimistic.
That's it.
Well, and Galera, thank you so much for making this an epic conversation. He says, every 10 days we have a free gathering open to the public at Kebta, Toronto, 2409 Eglinton Avenue West in Toronto. It is known as the African spiritual ceremony called Divine Holy Zemzem, consisting of prayers, wishes, and meditations, followed by a discussion. It starts at 8 p.m. This week, it will be on Wednesday, April 16th. All are welcome. For information, call 1-833-632-6222 or email Toronto at the earthcenter.org. Also visit theearthcenter.org. This is what we like, because if you didn't tell me, I would have had no idea about that. And so as we're going to be phasing out or ending the show, my email address, if you're probably on Paul's Facebook, but my email address I'll be showing you on the screen in just a moment. I'd love to get in contact with you, and I'd love you to come on the show and talk about this, because it's something we didn't know about.
Yep.
And I like to be a champion or an advocate for the underdog, or for those who are known, who are doing some great stuff, which there are many people who are doing great things. Oh, and also watching on Facebook, Sarah Yongo, long time. Sarah, wow.
Ottawa family.
Wow, Sarah, good to see
family.
you. It's good to see you. Good to be you, Sarah Yongo. All right. Let's call it a conversation. So as always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also, to advertise your business, service, or product on any of the platforms I'm a part of, email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Join the Black Men Can Talk Discord group at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Kofi Sadat, all those places, email, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all over the place. This guy is just everywhere. My gosh. Kofi Morris, where you are, we are speaking for you and through you, Mr. Morris. Email getwellstayfit@gmail.com, Instagram at Kofi Coach _ and Cosmic Wellness Group. And when he comes back, he went to the Brothers Who Care event about a week or so ago. I saw pictures. Well, definitely the next time he's on, we'll want him to share about that. Here are all the places you can get a hold of me: website, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram, The Dr. Vibe Show, X/Twitter at drvibeshow, email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. You can also catch me on Substack. You'll see that the next time we're out, and you can watch replays of this epic conversation on The Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The website, the drvibeshow.com. Also, Paul Osbourne on Facebook and Neza Community on YouTube. Any final words before we shut it down, Mr. Paul?
Yes. I want to kind of send a special rest in power and blessings. My aunt transitioned recently. Today was a funeral. So I'm sending love to the Osbourne family. Out in Florida today. Wish I could be there. But again, to live a life of purpose is one of the most important things. So thank you, Aunt Senti, for living that life of purpose and influence. So giving thanks for that.
And how many years of purpose did she share with the world?
90 plus. There you go.
Phenomenal. All right. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher and wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time. Manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And as always, if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. And always make it better. God bless. Peace, well, keep the faith and walk good. And thanks for giving the most valuable thing in your life to us, your time. Be well and keep the faith.
Time that our parents, they're like, I have nothing to teach you. I don't know nothing. And they know
my dad's at that point now. It says,
That's my point.
But I'm saying, no, Dad, you got lots more to give. You know how cold it is when these two brothers in their yard.
You know that. You know that. You don't know that, bro. You know
No
that.
joke.
I know we all have these things, but you know what? My go-to is this thing.
Wow.
Black book is in the
Black book.
Men Talk, Black Book.